What's going on, guys? I'm Journey, back with a thoughts video, this time on Hades. I like this game. I won't front. It's pretty okay. I think it's really exceptional at what it does here. This is a roguelike. You go in, you go towering through dungeons, and you gain power-ups. Power-ups comes in the form of little personal skills you will get from like different goddesses or goddess and goddesses. So you got Aphrodite, there's Ares, there's a whole bunch of people. You know, like I'm not the biggest guy on Greek mythology, if you would, but everything is here. Zeus is here, all that good stuff. Now, here's the thing: it's RNG to me. It's RNG like madness. So it just comes down to a stroke of luck from when you start and what you continue to find as you go along. Okay. With all that being said, there are different weapons in the game. There's a sword, there's a spear, there's a fist, a shield. There's at least enough there to say multiple runs through the dungeon would be pretty different and unique. Plus, you add the fact of all these different perks and benefits that you can get. There's even a guy named Chaos that you can find that will award you something not significant, but something substantial in a way if you add like a how do I put this? Add like a debuff if you would. So maybe your next 4 encounters would be you take more damage, but after those 4 encounters you gain increase for this particular set skills or whatever it is. Sometimes the enemies might drop more hearts, you might gain more hearts, you might gain more strength. It just all depends, right? It's the RNG nature of this game. I will state this: the game kind of rewards you in a sense upon death. And what I mean by that is if you are intrigued by the story, die. Die often. You will get more and more of the story. If you don't, you'll just be going through the actual like the game, going up towards the end, finishing. You'll get more as far as the relationship between the main character, Hades, and then other party members. I should say party members, other people that are populating this area. So there's that, but I do feel as though you get a little bit more when you die. So you can talk to a whole bunch of other people. You could give them gifts to give you even more dialogue. That's just there, and I just don't know how I feel about that in particular. Because on one hand, like I don't mind seeing the story. I think the story is nice. It's just that upon death and then seeing more, I don't know how necessarily how I feel about that. I kind of feel like there should be this progression that you have, um, and it's just kind of like, yeah, you'll be going back. I think they just kind of did it just try to keep it fresh. But at the same token, since there's not a whole lot of weapons to choose from, there's stuff in there, but it's just not like a whole plethora. And even so, let's say you have a particular playstyle like I do. I have a terminology I like to use, like going and draw. I like to brute force my way. I really like to brute force my way. And if you like, no matter what you have, like I have a specific style that I like. And at the end of the day, even let's say you go ahead get the bow and you're shooting off dudes from left and right, it doesn't necessarily feel like something that you can invest in if it's just not in your character, if that makes any sense. So there's nothing really that you can do if you do like something in particular. You'll just be running through and just going hoping for the best for RNG, but it's not going to necessarily make it fresh. And even if you pick up something new to play, you might enjoy it for a little bit. At the end of the day, at your core, you're still doing the same thing, going from floor one all the way up to going to the top. Man, you climbing the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So it can get a little bit to me. I don't want to use this word boring, but I should say a little bit redundant. It's just it depends on how you look at it. If you like roguelikes and you're more than comfortable with that type of situation standing, I think you'll be fine. If you're fresh, you have no idea about it, I think it's still a good thing to pick it up. Just it can vary by person. Like so you might fall in love with it, you might not. And if you don't, it will probably be because of the fact that you're doing kind of the same thing over and over again. No matter what anybody tells you, certain skills don't necessarily feel like after you grab them, you don't necessarily feel that bump. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like, okay, let's say you look at Diablo. you go from your grays to your blues to your yellows, and then to quote unquote your legendaries, and then to your ancient problems. If you find a chance to get those, like once you get a set bonus and you start getting those pieces together, boom, all of a sudden everything changes, right? But this is not that. So, but I do like it. I'll say this: the art style is amazing. I love the art style, and I love more than anything the voice acting. I think the voice acting is good. Meg won my heart. I like Meg, and I ain't gonna front. Aphrodite a butterhead. She got everything but the face. So like big shout outs though. I mean, I think the art style is wonderful. Now I remember this game was in talks for like game of the year. It was in the running with other stuff, and I remember some other titles that was in there like Ghost and Doom. Nah, nah. I do apologize. I understand the overall story and the push that a lot of industry and Coco fans would like to see an indie be that to beat the AA studios, to show them up, yada yada. You don't need all these multi-million-dollar stuff to make something and be great. I think this game is great, but not in the sense of those other games. You know what I'm saying? I think there's still a ways for this to improve, because I think in order for you to be a game of the year as an indie, you can't be that shouldn't be the first thing to pop out of people's mouths. You're like, oh wait, this feels like a full AAA experience. Like that's what I mean. Like there needs to be games that feel more than just an indie. Hollow Knight reminds me of more than something than just an indie. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like, and I don't think this game is here yet. But I do love what they've done with the game. I do like it. It's just it does have its moments where it's like, it's good, and I see the potential. It's just there could be other things they do. Also, just to get into just a little bit more, you can invest points into like this mirror. Like, I'll just call it like the mirror of darkness. There's different perks and stuff that you can put into, and quote invest your a bunch of currency into it, and you could just kind of go from there. There's different ways you can play around with it. You can unlock more within the tree to even get more stuff to allocate your points into. After you first done get towards like the end, which is not too far. It's like 5 stages, I think, like 5 or 6 stages. But after that, you go back in, and then there's this other sheet of different kinds of how can I put what's the word I'm looking for? It's like penalties that you can give towards yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things that you could just put in, and it'll just be like it'll just make it harder for yourself to give yourself like an even bigger challenge. If that's something you're looking for, they do have that. So yeah, it's nice. It's just I wish there was more. Like for instance, every time I go into a dungeon, I feel like I should be at least coming out with something, and I don't necessarily feel that way when I'm doing that. It's one thing to lose everything, that's fine, but it's not like a character within himself gains like character levels, like actual dedicated like bonuses, like either through your strength or through your speed or dodge chances, something like that. It doesn't feel like you can do much on that degree, and it feels like a lot of it's all in the mirror. But the stuff that's in the mirror, if it don't speak to you, you don't speak to you. You know, obviously there are people out there that can get these crazy builds and stuff of that nature, but when I think of a game like this, and obviously it's more harder on a degree, and you're looking at, is it accessible to everybody? I don't think it's accessible to everybody, but I do think there's room potential here to grow. So for maybe hell, the next one, maybe there'll be something like that in place where if you're going up, even if let's say you die or lose, maybe you could invest 1 point into your strength stat or something like that, something like some mandatory bonus or perk, or maybe even when you go in, if you do favor a particular deity, if you would, or a goddess or god or whatever you want to look at it as, maybe you could grab one of the perks from him that you could choose from that you're guaranteed to go in with every time that you run through, and then everything else is still just kind of random. So I think it would still make it hard, but at least you would have some familiarity, and you'd be able to quote unquote move along more. Just it'll just make things a little bit more accessible, so you can grasp things a little better. Like for me, I like when I strike enemies, I gain health back. So I remember that skill. I know that was exclusive to the sword, where you would strike regular strike and it will gain 2 points back in health. The fist has something of like, but it's locked to your strong attack, and you must kill the enemy in order for you to see that. So I do wish that every weapon had is set, but not necessarily locked between this and that and the third. It should just be flat. Well, you attack, boom, you'll get 2 points of health back. But there's still that penalty of negative 60 for your health. And so you just figure out that might be somebody's preferred way of playing. I'm just saying, and it's just kind of like Grandma. So it's just like, it is what it is. But I would say, though, I really enjoy this game. I like it. Is it perfect? Nah, but I can't wait to see if there's going to be another one and what improvements they do to the game itself. Mad love to y'all. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. This is my thoughts on Hades. Later, guys. Take care.